Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jasmine George, your female field guide. How are you? You know what time it is, right? It's time to talk about fantasy football. Yes, baby. Well, Jazz, what do you mean fantasy football? All my guy friends and all the sports fans and in my life, they play it and they're not really inviting. And it's kind of their man cave or their sports cave. Well, guess what, ladies? It's okay. It's time for the Female Field Guide Fantasy Football League. No boys allowed. Oh my gosh, I can't get enough of this horn. Jazz, what the heck is fantasy football? Well, you're not actually putting on any helmet or pads. It's all online. It's all for the fun and the love of the game and really to learn it. It's a fantastic way to really, you got to pay attention to particular players. You got to watch different games. And ladies, I've stepped my game up so much in the 5 years that I've been playing Fantasy Football League. So I was going to give you a couple strategies, the basics, and let you know that if you want to play in the Female Field Guide Fantasy Football League, no boys allowed. It's coming up. You better register. info@femalefieldguide.com. info@femalefieldguide.com. And both of our drafts will be having 2 leagues. One for the rookies, the ladies that have never played and probably wanted to, but those guys, they can be a little uninviting in their league. And also for the All-Stars, for the ladies that they've played in a league or two. Both are going to be Saturday, August 20th. The Rookie League's going to be at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the All-Stars are going to be at 7:30. Pretty much, ladies, fantasy football is you have an all-star team. You pick, depending on the rules of the league, sometimes you have 12, 13, 14 or so guys on your squad, and they're from different teams. So you really start to pay attention to different ball players, because at the end of the day, when it comes to fantasy football, performance equals points. If you're a wide receiver, if your quarterback, if your running back does well, then you get points. Each week you go head to head with another team, another owner in your league, and you win and you play for bragging rights. And some teams, that they charge you win for money. Ladies, in our leagues, we're going to be having some prizes for the most unique team names, and also, of course, for the ladies that win the first and second prize of the Fantasy Football League and go all the way to the playoffs and so forth. I just want to give you a couple strategies. Draft day. Each team, it's a draft. It's a day where they pick their players. I'm going to give you just about 3 strategies that I think are really important and really common when you're picking your players for your league. The first one is you draft, in each round. A round may consist of, you pick, 2 or 3 guys in each round, and most fantasy football leagues last me about 6 or 7 rounds. A strategy that you pick is you pick about, your first couple guys, quarterbacks. Why? Because the quarterback's going to touch the ball. They're going to be involved in the ball and the play almost 100% of the time. So therefore, hopefully they perform well, aka you'll get points. That's the first strategy, making sure you pick up a quarterback or 2 early, your first couple of picks. The second strategy is picking up a running back or a rusher. They're the guys that run with the ball. Hey, they're going to touch the ball quite a lot during the game. So odds are hopefully they do well. Performance equals points. Your guys do good, you get points. That's the second strategy. The third strategy is when you're drafting, you know what? Let me get a couple wide receivers early. Those are the guys that when the quarterback, he throws it to them, they receive the ball, they catch the ball, and so, hey, they're gonna get a lot of touches. If they're a good wide receiver, if they're a good player, they're gonna catch a lot of balls and hopefully get a touchdown. So those are the 3 strategies. That it's draft day, you're with all your friends, and you're either online or you're in person with the draft, sitting around picking your players. And so those are 3 strategies that are very common that sports fans, non-sports fans, those that are playing fantasy football, they abide in. I want to give you some fun definitions and some commonly used terms when it comes to fantasy football. Well, there's a bye week. In the NFL, there's 32 teams, and there's 17 weeks in the regular season, but only your team only plays 16 weeks. There's something called a bye week. That's 1 week where a team doesn't have a game. They're resting their bodies. They're at the house chilling, okay? Make sure you know the schedules of your guys that are on your team. You don't want to, not, move your roster around because 4 of your guys have bye weeks. Therefore, if they're not playing, they can't perform. And performance equals points, baby. Fantasy football. Sleepers, what are those? Those are guys that no one even thinks that they're good, or no one even thinks that they're going to perform well, and you guys are sleeping on them, and they wake up and all of a sudden they're playing amazing. There's usually sometimes rookies or sometimes guys that have been playing for a couple of years and no one's really paying attention to them. They're sleepers. Don't sleep on them. Also, there's bust guys who you thought, who the analysts thought, who even sometimes maybe I think are going to play amazing, and they play horrible. Bust. You want to get rid of those guys. You want to trade them or waive them. Those are just two different ways to get rid of guys. Don't be emotionally connected to these men, ladies. If they are not performing well, get them off your roster. Get them off your roster. Buys, bust, sleepers. But lastly, I want to leave you with this. You want to get something, ESPN, NFL.com, something called the draft kit. What that is that's a list of the top, I believe, 10 players from each position that played very well last year. So when it's draft day, ladies, you have a list, you know, of about 10 wide receivers, 10 quarterbacks, 10 running backs who are very good and you want to pick up. Always have a plan B. Your draft kit, those are the lists. Make sure you go there and you study. Of course, there's always me, your female field guide. I'll be talking about it on my show Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will have a fantasy football segment, of course, and I'll have my chat rooms open an hour before each draft. Ladies, I want to get you right. Just a quick tidbit. I really hope that you play either in my fantasy football league or other leagues. I promise you you'll step your game up. I promise you. This is Gyasmine George, your female field guide. I really hope that you participate in the No Boys Allowed League.